Hello everyone and welcome back to another instalment of our Portuguese barn conversion series.
There's some highs, there's some lows, there's a lot going on, so make sure you stick around to the end. We woke up this morning to another beautiful day here in sunny Central Portugal.
This has been a long time coming and neither of us could sleep last night because we were just so excited to get cracking with it.
And this is one you're not going to want to miss, but you know when she looks like that it's going to be a good video, so make sure you tune in to the end to see what she's been up to.
We're the indie project, Bee and Theo, and we've been living and travelling the world in vans for the past 6 years. We're currently renovating an abandoned stone barn in Portugal to turn into a beautiful tiny home for us and our cats, Ginjey Bear and Furrnando. Follow our journey from the very beginning as we document the whole process of creating an off-grid home.
Our final sponsorship of the year is Squarespace, so thank you so much guys for sponsoring us and actually sponsoring us throughout the entire year of 2021. So if you're thinking of building a website, we've got new year coming, new beginnings, maybe you want to make a new website, Squarespace is the place to go because they make web design so easy. There's loads of themes for you to choose from, so you already have a professional looking website straight off the bat. Then you can customize it completely to you, whether you've got a restaurant and you want to have bookings on there, whether you need somewhere to host your ebook or your courses that you're doing, or you have a shop. There's so many different reasons why you might want a website, and Squarespace is the best place to do it. You don't need any experience with web design, and that's why we have our website with them as well. So if you want to try out Squarespace, just go to the link in our description or head to squarespace.com/indieprojects and you can get a 2-week free trial so you can have a good mess around with it and find out exactly how it works and whether it fits you, and then you can get a 10% discount off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So what are you waiting for? New year, new adventures. Also live here as well as building the barn out, so that means that we've got everyday tasks that we have to do.
Handbrakes off. Let's go, ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh. It just purrs every time, this thing. You could leave this thing for probably 2 years, come back and it'll be perfect.
Helpful or a hindrance? I don't know.
So this is the window that I'm going to build the window frame for, and it's funny because it's so narrow.
And tiny.
It's literally really small. But it should be an interesting process because, like I said, I've never built a window before. I'm really excited to experiment with the table saw and my router. Should be able to do something really nice, and I've got a glass cutter as well, so I'm going to cut my own glass, put it in the frame, and hopefully we end up with an actual usable window that isn't literally that narrow,
that
but
actually lets light through.
Turn the page and now the day's begun.
Oh wow, what a difference that is. You've done an amazing job as usual. Well done for blowing me away.
I've been made to kind of think outside the box and do workarounds and really test my creativity and how I'm going to do it, because I really want to restore this barn. Some techniques that we're using, like the breathable membrane and not using mortar on the ridge, it's a really good thing, but it looks slightly different. So with the way that I've finished the end of the ridge tiles, now it really does look like a traditional Portuguese building, which I'm stoked about. And the wiring on this vehicle is atrocious. I mean, Look how this is wired together. It works to a degree, but maybe I'll redo some of this wiring at some point, but I got a house to build. So Bee's just gone to ask the guys in Rhodey to see if they can help us out. We think it is a spark plug issue, but we will see and see if they can help us. If not, we're going to have to try and fix it ourselves in the car park.
Jump in there.
We did it! We did it!
I feel the wind against my puzzled face. 5-speed bicycle.
This is like the original batch that we got delivered, which is on our veranda, which is on the inside of our roof, and it's just beautiful. I'm so happy we went for chestnut. It's such a shame that we had to wait like another 2 weeks to get this batch. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the original batch that we got of this, which is designed for the mezzanine, was literally riddled with bugs. So insects that eat the wood, they're all inside it. It was just a state.
I'm still out here and I'm still moving along, still wondering. I'm still out here and I'm still moving along.
Initially, I was going to have this beam right to the edge, but I decided that with shrinkage and stuff like that in the summer, and if these beams dry out anymore, you'll have a gap that is a tiny gap and it will expand and contract and stuff like that. So I thought, set up there, the beam can sit on top, floorboards on the top of that, and it should look really nice. I'm not sure whether it's a good idea to countersink the bolt into the wood. Maybe I'll lose some structural integrity there. So what we're thinking is maybe to paint the bolts black so they just look nicer.
Here, chicky chickies! Here, chicky chickies! Here, chicky chickies! Come on! We're gonna have to do the old shepherding technique. I know, Mary, you don't want to go in.
Slow it down. Everyone's been slowing down. If I help you up, will you lead me through the night?
Portugal, cork trees are protected, and in the summer this will provide a lot of shade for our house.
It's a corker.
So it's currently Bee's birthday today, and I asked her, what's one thing that you want to do? And to my dismay, she said, I want to jump in the lake and you're coming with me.
And this is going to be very invigorating, trust me. Oh! 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 It's okay. Not bad. Oh. Nestled away in this bush behind the sand is 7 eggs, which is actually perfect timing because I ran out of eggs and I really wanted a fried egg sandwich for lunch, so that's amazing.
Join is so nice now it's been sanded.
Seamless.
It was a little bit high, but that's a good thing. You want it higher than lower so you can sand it all into each other. My first ever window.
Congrats.
I can't wait to see it with stained glass in. I've always dreamed of having a mezzanine in my home since I was a kid, and that might sound strange to you, but the reality is going to come true.
Tossed in like a castaway.
So I'm ready to go. I've got all my drill bits, my lag bolts, my jig. So basically this is the size of the joists that are going across. So we can just go along and check that we're level.
You ready for the last one?
Go on. Yes. I cannot wait to move on to the joist. Sitting under here on the grimiest couch ever.
I can't believe you're actually sitting on that thing.
Just admiring the mezzanine. It's beautiful.
Have you shown it yet?
No, I haven't shown it finished. And this, like, I can't even speak. Like, I'm so tired. But this is such a vibe. Like, I'm sitting under my mezzanine. This is where our bedroom's gonna be. It just feels amazing. Like,
it does look
the space
so
in here just feels massive. Should we put the OSB up and actually stand up there?
Such a good idea. Yeah, we're about to run out of light. The thing's on like 5%, so let's see what happens. Oh wow.
What if the light goes out while we're up here? Have you got your phone?
No, my phone's dead.
There's so much space up here.
There is so much room for activities.
Like, it feels massive. I'm like, what size bed are we having?
Yeah, because our bed's going to be going here. Clothes storage there. There's where our bedroom window's going to be.
Keep on strong, moving every day, going further on.
If we built a hatch, then it'll be like, okay,
Annoying.
in the night, or whenever you want to go up, you got to pop this hatch. Like, how often do you want to go in your loft? It's never fun going in your loft, is it? And we don't want this to be an annoying experience. It's our home. We want it to be like flowy and nice and just really well thought out.
So we've scrapped the hatch.
It's going here. How cool is this? Like, space saving location.
This is another perspective of the amount of space we've got. Where I'm standing right now is the kitchen. Where Theo is sitting is just free space that we now have. Where are you going? How are you going to get down though? I know you're a cat and you've got 9 lives, but I'd rather you just kept all 9.
Here goes the first stroke.
Wow, that looks good.
Oh, this stuff really brings out the grain. When you live off grid, you have to learn, and that is exactly what we're doing, throwing ourselves in at the deep end, and we're going to fix everything ourselves. But I'm going to have to take the tractor. I'm going to push this out the way.
Oh, what a shame. The tractor
I mean, I
needs
couldn't
to
walk
come
there,
out.
could I? I'm not going to lie, I feel like I'm on Cool Runnings right now. The start of the bobsleigh.
Got this, Theo. Come on.
Desire burns between them.
Well, is the highest that I've ever seen it. It's crazy. It's nearly overflowing, and that's because this winter's been ridiculously rainy. Not so good for building, but it's good in a hot country when you can have access to water, and luckily our wells, they run all year round.
I am sanding the whole entire roof. I've got a lightweight sander that's much more comfortable to use than our big ass belt sander.
You can see there, they're a lot more orange, they're stained from the sun, big black marks on where they were strapped to the truck probably when they were delivered. So we need to get rid of all of that.
Every mile on my mind leads to you.
We can really see the difference here. Just check it out. These ones are yellow and these ones are not yellow.
Where you gone, Ginj? She looks so cute.
She does.
Come on, time to go to the vet, unfortunately.
I got this sudden feeling like now's the time to start. I got a big idea in my head, I got a dream down in my heart. And I'm praying that she'll help me now, I'm praying that she'll show me how.
Look at this historical moment on the barn conversion. I'm sitting on a scaffold where the kitchen's going to be. And above me, it's our first window! This is so exciting.
I got this sudden feeling like now's the time to start. I got a big idea in my head, I got a dream down in my heart.
going to be such a nice view out the window from the mezzanine. That corner there, just, oops. Nah, back, go back. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to line the
Right, if I can do it just a touch
verticals. Oh, it's so nice that you can see that tree out the window there.
Need some grippy tape. Is this the final tile?
You always leave the trickiest one to me to do on my own, don't you?
You did it! It's done!
I cannot believe it, we've finally got the V-Lux windows in and they look amazing. The windows are actually on the north side and that was planned so that we don't get any direct sunlight. So what we do get coming through there is a really soft light. It's not direct. It means that in the summer we should be a bit cooler inside the house. This never gets old, opening the window. Wow, that breeze.
That breeze is brilliant!
I can see your hair wafting.
Here we are, on the edge of mystery. We long for a life of new discovery.
The first thing I've got to do is get rid of all this old dried up mortar that doesn't look very nice, that was just used to actually stick the stones on top of each other. All I'm going to do is go with my chisel and just work my way through and create a little bit of a groove so the new mortar can get in there.
Oh wow, what an improvement to the wall!
Look good.
Yeah, you've done a great job. You can see here the clear difference between what he's done and what he hasn't done yet. So up here is where it's already been pointed by him and you can really see the difference that it makes compared to the bottom, which is just very gappy and just really highlights the fact that the wall isn't pointed yet.
Wet down the area that I'm going to be spreading the mortar, and this allows it to stick better. If you just put it on dry, later on you'll have a problem where it will just dry up and flake off. Then I got my mortar on the trowel, I've got my pointing key. This is a super narrow pointing key and I really enjoy using this one. It means that you can get into all the really tight spaces and around each individual stone. I just offer my trowel up to the gap and I can just push it in like that. And as I'm pushing it in, I'm really going over it and making sure it's really compressed. It's not just sitting on the surface, it's compressed all the way back. And I just keep pushing it in until it's all the way in there.
What a weirdo. Eating chicken food, come on.
I'm pointing in a slightly different way. I went out on my dirt bike yesterday and I went around all the different little villages and I was looking at different pointing that people do, and generally they go really thick, so all the little stones in between the big stones, they just literally get rid of them and put mortar in there. And I'm not gonna lie, I much prefer the way I've done it. It looks much more intricate. You see all the details and all the little stones are what make
Are you trying to
the
tell
barn.
me that you've done a better job than the traditional Portuguese people have?
Well, you know, I'm not telling them how to do it, but no, like you do see buildings like similar to what we've got.
You found your style.
But I think it's just a stylistic choice, and I think the reason the mortar's really thick and they just get rid of all the small stones and just mortar over them is because it's a lot quicker. We are going to be putting a floor down, which is very exciting, and I think it's going to change the look of the barn. So follow along because it's about to get busy. It's no one's fault.
Well, it's the pandemic's fault.
It's the pandemic's fault, and it's just wearing on me a little bit, being in these lockdowns. And this sofa represents my mood right now. Very, very grimy, very worse for wear. I didn't sleep well last night at all. I was excited for what was going to happen. Furrnando weed on me at 5 a.m.
That was a sign.
That was a sign of things to come. And the problem is, not being able to get this cement floor down today means that everything's have to be pushed back.
Hello, my name's Bee, I'm 32 and I'm originally from Birmingham. I'm quietly confident, which is why I'm wearing sandals. I've got my cat who is going to be hindering. Why are you climbing my leg? Yeah, I'm wearing sandals just to prove that you don't need trainers to win the Indie Projects Challenge.
Okay, so I've got the stopwatch and Bee is warming up.
I'm ready, let's go.
You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go!
Come on. Come on. Oh no! No! I'm so weak!
You got it, next shot. I don't know why I'm hyping you up.
I don't know why you hype me up in your competition. Okay.
Yes!
I know me and Theo are supposed to be sharing this bath, but I'm really sorry. I'm not sharing this with you. Come on, Mary. The next 2 days are going to be exhausting.
Brutal, absolutely brutal, but I'm excited and I'm ready. This is our home and I'm willing to do anything, absolutely anything, to just get in there and start living in it.
I'm always looking for that light in the shadow. Always been wandering through darkness. You are my favorite shade of rose, a flower bed on my favorite stones. I love the ground where your roots have grown. You're my favorite place.
Best mix till last.
You've got it. You've got it.
How lovely the ceiling is looking with the light bursting through the roof windows. But look,
It's the concrete floor.
you can tell we're excited.
You know what? It's lovely being able to just glide around on a flat surface. There's no bumps, there's no dirt, there's no random rocks sticking out. This is glory.
It looks a little bit like an ice rink at the moment. Just like I've been doing on the outside with the pointing around the stones and making it look really beautiful, I've got to do the same on the inside, but it doesn't need to look nice. It's just to create an area for the plaster to go on to a nice surface. So Bee's gone in fully clothed and I think I'm going to go in butt naked because I want to wear these clothes tomorrow because I'm doing more work with mortar tomorrow, so I might as well get the same clothes dirty.
That is cold. In you go.
Oh, wow. We did it! Yes! I just came across an image from about 8 months ago of how the barn was when we first arrived here, and it made me think how much we've actually done, because it's hard to look back and remember what it used to be like, but things are so different, and it's gave me a whole new energy to just power on. Your mate's waiting for you.
Oh, hello! Oh, hello! Hello, Furrnando!
If that isn't love, I don't know what is.
He waited in here the whole time that I was standing on the pillow, which I would rather he didn't, because it's dusty. But he just has to be with me, don't you?
You've done such a good job. Nearly there.
Thank you.
Nearly there.
Thank you so much.
We're not just plastering over everything. We're going to keep all the beautiful, like, lintels, the doorway stones, the stones that frame the windows, both sides of the wall. So there's going to be plenty of stone features surrounded by the white plaster. I think it's going to look incredible. So we're just on our way to the Marataker Dam. This particular fishing spot is about 5 kilometers away, so it's not too bad on the bikes. I can't wait. We're going to try and catch some big bass. We haven't caught anything yet, and this is what being in Portugal is all about: spending time outside, going on adventures, and just generally having a good time. Oh, it's one of them prices we pay, I guess, for living in the countryside and free ranging our chickens. They have the best life. They've got 5 acres to roam around and explore. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I'll show you where we found them. All the chickens are locked away in their enclosure right now, and the sun's going down, so it'll be their bedtime. And Furrnando came running out of the forest here, which was quite odd because he really did look a little bit spooked, and we think this is where it all started because there's quite a few feathers. There's literally a trail of feathers all the way up, and then kind of like midway where we found him, there's loads.
Come on, Betty, you did it before I had the camera on. Betty the cockerel.
You should be proud. You really should.
I'm proud. This ceiling took 3 coats of Danish oil, and that might not seem like a big deal, but that is every single square inch of exposed wood. So that's every single side of these beams, every single piece of cladding, the ridge beam, everything. And if you want to see the difference,
I mean, just look at that grain, guys. If you could see this in real life, it looks 10 times better than it does on camera.
It is stunning, and I know I might sound a bit big-headed, but trust me, it really is. The grain is popping so well. It was really worth it. And if you want to see the subtle change from the colour of the wood, that's it. This is a sanded piece of chestnut, and that's 3 coats of Danish oil.
I get a really nice cold shower coming straight from the well. Beautifully fresh water. This is just amazing.
Wow. Wee! Wow, wee!
My arm feels like it's gonna fall off. The sprayer, if I used it without goggles, it was spraying in my eyes. You don't want to get lime in your eyes, it's not good for you. The machine was getting clogged up, I just had enough. I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to do it by hand.
We've had quite a few inquiries about lime, why we're using it, what mix we're doing, and for our dubbing out coat, which is what we've been doing at the moment, we're doing a 3-course sand to 1 lime mix, and then as much water as we need to get it to the perfect consistency.
So we're using 2 different types of sand on this project. We've got a sharp sand on the left. You can really tell the difference between that and the finer grain softer sand. The softer sand's more like a yellowy colour, and basically we're going to be using that for all the finishing plaster, something where we want a finer, nicer looking finish. Whereas the sharp sand, we're using that right now for the dubbing coat, the backing coats, because it's got more integrity to it. It's got more, I don't know how you'd explain it, but more fibre, more texture.
Fibre, I love that. So there's a couple of different tools that Theo's been using. A pointing key, this is really good for getting in small bits and smoothing around the edges right there. The second one is this pointed trowel that actually came from his granddad, that is one of his favourite tools for using because it's really good at getting in all the small spaces and just very handy, and also a comfortable tool to use. This is a square edge trowel, big and hefty. I like to use this to get the mortar out of the bucket and onto the hawk. And then this is a wider pointing key that is similar use to that pointing key basically, but these are the main 4 tools. And then obviously forgot about the main one. Theo's using a, what do you call that, a mini plasterer's trowel?
Call it a baby plasterer's trowel.
A baby plasterer's trowel.
It's
with
miniature.
It's got curved edges, which makes a massive difference.
Yeah, it means that it doesn't like dig in so much into the mortar, especially really good for uneven surfaces. Today it's so nice, like literally within 5 seconds I'm feeling like the water's warm. This is the absolute dream, just hanging out in the middle of the lake. It's so calming and peaceful being on the water. I absolutely love it. I'm just sloping it so the water can naturally run out. I'm already missing the truck. I can't wait to get it fixed. Hopefully they can fix it. Obviously the plaster's quite thick and then you've got the stone, so you need to shape around the stone so that it blends nicely into the plaster. The floor's already done, and then we can give it a lick of pool paint. That's the first time that I've ever rendered anything. I've learnt a lot in the last 2 hours, and it's exciting because I can take them skills and use them again in the future. It's just really magical, and to come down here and just pick the fruit straight off the tree, and they're the best oranges you will ever taste.
They are, they really are very nice.
This well is actually a spring-fed well, and you can tell there's water here because of all of the overgrowth, and it really needs a trim, but we don't have time to do that right now. Guys, Bee's driving the tractor. This is amazing. I cannot wait to literally dive in. I may bang my head off the bottom, but I just don't care at this point. And this stone here is actually the original stone that the ridge beam sat on.
That's
so you
so
can see
cool.
how much we've actually added onto this roof. This is when we find out this stone's holding up the whole barn.
I've got all of this wall to plaster. It's like 3 different stages of stuff going on, but it's given me ideas for when our kitchen's along here. We've got the wood burner there. We'll have our sofa there.
It's just gorgeous here, isn't it?
That's perfect. It's really lovely to actually be able to come and swim in this lake and completely submerge and get rid of all of the work dust, the work grime.
And you can see behind me how this little odd looking window before has been completely transformed by how it looks now with the plaster. And what the plan is I'm going to point around each individual stone, just like I did on the outside of the building, to really make it come alive and blend in with the rest of the walls. Look at that. There's literally so many grapes. This looks like it's going to be a really good grape harvest. We got Ken, Gina, Bee, Bee's mum, Andrea, Nick. I'm ready for pizza. How long? We are in a house, and this is where we're going to be quarantining for the next week. And that's the UK government make you quarantine when you come from an amber list country, as we did. So basically we're locked down in a house for a week, but it's no bad thing because it means we can rest. To leave the test in this box so it can be couriered to the lab. And I borrowed my dad to show you guys just the sheer size of these things. Look at that. He's about, what, 7 foot? This building is stunning and it's in such a nice location. This is what really inspired me to do our home in Portugal. I made it to Birmingham, just got to get a bus to the terminal and then I get to see Bee. So excited. It's looking so beautiful.
Hello.
I love you.
You too.
We got 180-degree views overlooking the countryside. And it feels so good to be out of the city. I know I keep saying it, but this is where I belong. There's some birds flying over, and just look at this. It really is nice, soft light. And when I said I belong here, I don't mean here in the Peak District. I mean anywhere that is in nature and feels remote and is not surrounded by loads of people. And our anniversary, I nearly forgot it was our anniversary. This is the whole point, that we're actually on this walk and we thought we better do something really nice. And yes, 16 years today, and look at this. Let us know in the comments what you think we should do with this door, because it will be nice and decorative for something, I'm sure. It's beautiful. Oh, this is exactly what we wanted. It matches the veranda so nicely.
Look at all these apples that I've got. This is a daily occurrence. I've been making lots of desserts, apple pie, apple crumble, and they're good.
I can confirm they are amazing. The absolute style that's going on this morning, check that out. Socks and sandals with the loudest socks I've ever wore. Come on.
Now you've got to do a 55-point turn to get out. Look at this. The raised beds, or should I say raised houses more like, it's not a bed. They're taking shape.
What a difference the pointing makes to the unpointed. I just wanted to show you this contrast because it's not often you get to see this, and soon this will be done and I can move on to the inside of the building. A lot of these Portuguese properties, and what they do is, because the land is not flat and it's built into a slope, they just pile up all the dirt and anything that's around here, the old roof tiles, anything they can do to build it up. They just level it off to the wall, which causes obviously damp coming through. Well, now it's all pointed. We've dug a ditch. There's never going to be earth touching the wall ever again. And we're also going to have drainage and guttering.
How good does it look? So nice to see that completely filled in now.
So there's obviously no reason for me to chip this mortar completely out because that's what's holding the wall together and the ridge beam sitting on top of that. So you want to make sure that you don't go too far back, but I just need like enough to add the new mortar in so I can really get in there and shape it the way I want to shape it. You can see the definition now between each one of the stones. You can see the gaps bigger, which is perfect for pointing. We did actually, if you're an avid follower and you remember back before, we actually cleaned this wall before and didn't do a very good job because we didn't know what we were doing. But now we do. We did a much better job and I know what's needed to be able to point it. The last thing we need to do is just go over with a stiff brush all over the stones and just scrub them back to get any excess dirt before I start pointing.
They look so good, and now that they've been... What are you doing? Playing with my leg? Now that they've been wedged into the ground, they're rock solid. If it's all working and it's at a right angle... Oh, and here we go. We have success.
The original builders who we had to help out do the roof, they absolutely messed up, and I questioned them and said, this tile needs to be out here. So the traditional way of Portuguese building with roofs is they overhang a tile halfway so there's enough room to put the gutters underneath and it's far enough away from the wall. Because our tiles only overhang by literally a couple of inches, it's not possible to get this gutter far enough in. The permanent solution for this problem, and what I always wanted to do anyway, was build a lean-to onto the back of this wall. This gets a load of sunlight in the morning. This battery bank I think is, I don't know, like 17 to 19 amp hours or something like that. It's not very big battery, but it's really sufficient because it's lithium, so charges super quickly. Takes a long time for it to deplete, especially because we're only going to be using it just for showers. So hopefully these will hold it in place.
You've got to wear gloves, mask and eye protection when you use it, but it gets the dirt off really well.
And when you walk in now and you look up, it looks so nice. We've got one hole over there which would have been used for the scaffolding poles. They would have used old like eucalyptus wood, tree branches basically, to hold themselves up to build this place. So these are why these are here. And this hole here, we're going to use it as like a little mantelpiece. We can put stuff in there. And then the other one is just a hole straight through for a window. But look at that.
We've got everything we need to set up a home for some goats. We just need to put it together. Try and do it. The noise!
You just done my shoulder in again.
Seriously, you need that shoulder for pointing. Of course, we always have to have more than one project on the go, but that's what life's all about. Just staring at my plants. Welcome to my beginner garden. I've done it in a way where they're all companion plants, so they should support each other in regards to pests and stuff.
Both me and Bee, I love it to pieces. I'm head over heels in love with it. And luckily, it's gonna rain soon because look at that water that we've got left for the shower. So we've just worked out this is day 6 on this wall, which is not too bad to be fair, considering the other wall took me around about 10, 11 days.
I'd say he's got about 1/3 left. How are you feeling?
Started from the bottom now. Start from the top.
Started from the top, now you're at the bottom. This is the face of a man who is fed up of pointing.
and whose beard trimmer ran out.
I want to keep stirring this so it doesn't dry up. So that's going to be my job, will be paint. This wall down here on the gable end and on top of the mezzanine, you can see has been done.
I'm done. Oh yes, now I can get my surprise. Ah, it's freezing!
Right, get out.
Okay. Haven't had anything that's not come through. Did have one incident where I spotted something had come up and had a nibble of one of the leaves.
Looks like it's worked out really nicely.
Oh, that is perfect. And there's absolutely no residue from the tape, which is great. Oh, that's satisfying, isn't it? Hello, Bee.
Well done.
What? Oh no!
And the two of the joists are in now.
Yeah.
All screwed in and fastened. As soon as the bottom floorboards are Danish oiled, then we can nail them in place. Bang these posts in the other side of the line, level them up, use the spirit level, make sure they're the right height, and then we could get onto the fencing. This dark stain that we're putting on protects it from like water damage.
There are now enough boards fixed in place for me to be able to walk along, and seeing it like that, oh my god, this is so exciting. And you might have noticed we've got nails along the initial edge here because it was the first edge, but the rest we're blind nailing.
The last two boards need to be cut on the table saw because it needs to be slightly thinner. This is going to be the post to hold the structure for our lean-to on the back where we're going to store all of our firewood. We can keep this window open all the time, and also it means that we can have pretty much a permanent cat flap. All of our wiring, we've decided to go underneath the floorboards because we've got a little bit of a cavity where we can fit the wires. Double plugs on all the corners, and we've got USB plugs going in as well.
It's a race of undetermined length that'll test your mind and test your strength.
Look at that!
It's perfect!
Is that not an epic fire pit?
That is literally perfect.
Good. Okay.
We really hope that you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed filming it.
Every morning we wake up and have to pinch ourselves because we own this place and we live in such a beautiful part of the world.
It really is a lovely place to live, and we enjoy sharing all of it with you.
We really do, and we hope to see you on the next video.